happy to see you. We have been stuck in the doldrums here now for some weeks, and things are getting really boring. Almost makes me long for the days of the Bermuda Triangle and all the crazy fun. Maybe not. But first mate George Catlin here, he's been sick and sleeping most of the time, so he's no fun. Polychrome has just been listlessly perching in the sun. The lobster phone hasn't rung for weeks. No news from the outside world. We are bored. One member of our crew, however, has been suspiciously alright. More than alright. Actually, he's been great. And it's kind of annoying. Oh, Bob!
Doop, doop, doop. Happy little clouds that just live up here in the sky. Doop, doop, doop.
So, Bob's invented this new method of fishing. It involves using a paintbrush, old paint, and he's catching the weirdest fish. You think I'm kidding? Just wait. Oh, Bob! Ah, there you are, Bob. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to know if you wanted to say hi to the Hopkins students.
Hi, welcome back. Certainly glad you could join us today.
Bob, what I don't understand is how come you're not bored like the rest of us, just sitting here, bobbing on the water, day in, day out, going nowhere.
I love water. I've always wanted to have a home right on the water. Maybe one day I will.
Well, Bob, I'd say that day has come. You can't get any more at home on the water than we are. But don't you miss anything about being at home? Why are you so happy here?
When I go home, the only power I have is over the garbage. I can take it to the street all by myself. But here, I can do anything. Absolutely anything.
Well, Bob, I guess there's something to be said for that. Is there anything you'd like to do today?
Shoot, let's get crazy.
Well, I was just starting to tell them about how you love fishing.
I like to fish, but I'm not a very good fisherman. I catch a little fish and take the hook carefully out of his mouth and put a Band-Aid on him, little CPR, pat him on the tutu and put him back in the water and go back and catch him again another day.
I could certainly see you doing CPR on a fish. So, speaking of getting crazy, since we've been stuck in the doldrums here, you've developed this wild new method of fishing that involves using old paint and brushes to learn the fish. Can you show us how to do this?
Now then, let's have some fun.
So, do we need any special equipment?
We'll use about a dozen colors of some unorthodox brushes, but you use whatever size you'd like.
Alright, so I've got the stuff now, what do I do?
Alright, that's working so well. Take a little white, a little bit of the blue, grab a little more of the titanium white. I want to make a light blue color here, mostly phthalo blue. And let's just tap a little color into the bristles. This little 2-inch brush will do marvelous things. Watch here, watch here, watch here. It's fun. Just take the corner of the brush and just pull down. Something about like so. Straight down, straight down. You could even take another 2-inch brush, and I have several.
Okay, I have my brush all loaded with colors. I had to improvise a bit, but it's in the water. What's next?
This is where the fun starts.
Okay.
And just let the brush just sort of bounce around and play and let it have fun.
Okay.
Just barely touching, barely. Let it graze, let it graze. That easy. That easy. About like so. Okay.
I'm still not getting any bites over here, Bob.
Wiggle that brush. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle that brush.
Oh, wiggling away, but I think I've got something. What do I do now?
Just grab it and pop it. Just pop it up.
No pressure.
That's all there is to it.
No, I could have sworn I had a bite. There's no fish. Where'd they go?
These little son of a guns hide in your brush, and you just have to push them out.
What? You mean just like push them like this?
See how easy that is?
Well, what do you know? Here, Bob.
Oh, I like that one. I like that one. That's a nice one. Very nice color.
I like him too, but he's my first one. I'm a little bit biased. Let's see if I can get another one. I must say, I was really skeptical of this whole technique.
And there's another one.
Oh!
Just think about all these little guys. Give them names if necessary. Give them names. This is Clyde, and he lives right here.
Yeah, you really convinced me. That was easy. Maybe I should catch a whole pile for dinner.
But do one at a time. I know. Sometimes it starts working, you get greedy. Do one at a time. One at a time.
Well, I suppose you're right, Bob. One can get greedy. Let's stop here for tonight. My mistake.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Well, this has certainly been one happy accident I won't soon forget. Thanks for showing us this new fishing technique today, Bob. I think we'd better get started on today's lesson. Is there anything you'd like to tell the students?
You can't believe what wonderful things it does to my heart to know that you've allowed me into your home.
Me too, Bob. Me too. This is a USS Corona news flash. The USS Corona is now complete with its own working Lobster Arrrt Line. Have a question about art? A comment for the crew? Or a suggestion for a future project? Call or text, but we suggest calling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and leave a message for any member of the USS Corona crew, including Captain Sause, First Mate George Catlin, Polychrome, or Bob Ross. The number is 413-239-0953. Again, that number is 413-239-0953. When calling, please use your pirate name. Help us through the doldrums and end our boredom. As a friend of the USS Corona, Arnold Schwarzenegger says, do it! Do it now! This ends the USS Corona news flash. And now back to our regularly scheduled lesson. Ahoy, class! We've been at DREADED for quite a while now, but we're back. The sun is peeking through the clouds, and it looks like it is going to be a glorious day to art! So, it's time for today's Daily Doodle. In keeping with the theme for the week, your Daily Doodle is doldrum fighting. That's right. Tell me how you are fighting boredom and keeping yourself entertained and occupied during these dull and tedious days. So illustrate it to me. Pause the video right now if you'd like. Bob Ross and I will wait. And we're back. Today I'm going to start with some very brief bottle feedback. For the most part, I was really pleased with the bottles. Most of them looked excellent, but there were just a couple common problems that I wanted to talk very briefly about today. And one of the most common of these problems was actually a carryover from when we did the cylinders. And if you recall, one of the critiques I made about the cylinders was paying attention to the internal and particularly the bottom lines. I'm going to switch pencils so you can actually see what I'm doing. All right. And so in order to create that 3D feeling, you have to have the curves carry all the way through the body of the object. And so many of you, in addition to having sort of flat-looking cylinders, wound up with some flat-looking bottles because either the bottom or the label lines were flat instead of curving to match the top curves that you created on the bottle. So let's take a look at how that might play out. So here is our ideal bottle. All right. And one of the ways that you can check to see if you've got your curves correct is, I'm actually going to do something a little weird here. I'm going to turn this on the side because sometimes I think it's easier to see this better. And do you see how this creates an oval shape? If you take an extra piece of paper, and because that's dark underneath, I can see to trace it. Go ahead and trace, pull out one of your old drawings and do this. All right, trace it so you complete that oval on the blank sheet of paper. Now, I want you to flip around. This is your set curve. And as you check it all the way down, you can see if when you turn it around, it either matches or completes that oval. And if it does, then you know you're spot on because you've kept that same curve all the way through your drawing. And I hope that makes sense. So when it comes to doing your bottle and completing the bottom, remember, we don't want any flat bottoms. All right, as soon as you do that, you can have a beautiful rendering of a bottle that looks very convincing until you get right down to there. And notice what happens. Oh, look at that, I draw things the same size. If you connect that oval and it completes that, look at how that changes, right? And I'm gonna darken this up just so you guys can see it a little bit better. Right? So flat, and then with the curve. And that makes a really far more convincing bottle. So I hope that that makes sense. That was the most common problem I saw. Otherwise, things were lovely. Great work. All right. Let's talk about issue 2, blind sketches. So I assigned you guys to do a blind sketch of a bottle. And this was the example that I showed you. And if you look, my lines start out okay, but they really get discombobulated as I get down towards the bottom. And that is actually what you want to see when you're doing a blind sketch. A lot of you called things blind sketches, but they looked better than what I can draw normally with my eyes, you know, looking at my drawing. So I think there was some confusion on this. So I want to clear it up because it's going to be really important for this week's assignment. So blind sketches should not look objectively good, okay? They need to be, you're gonna expect to see lines sort of every which way but loose. And to me, that's what makes them fun. I love blind sketches, and I told you guys that as you turn them in. To me, they have just a lot of character, and you sort of catch the caricature of an object. And it's very freeing because you're not looking at what you're doing. There's no expectation that these are going to be, and again, I'm going to use big air quotes on this, good, right? That's not the point. The point is, as I'll talk about later, that you're going to be building your hand-to-eye coordination. So let me make this really clear. In order to do a blind drawing, and I think this is where you guys screwed up, you are not looking away from the object. You're not hiding your bottle in another room in a drawer and then drawing it from memory. No, no. What you are doing is you are putting a barrier between what you are drawing and your eyes, right? So my eyes are here, I'm drawing down here, but I've got a sheet of paper or something else to block my view of what I'm doing. And the whole time you're going to be doing this, you are staring directly at your object. All right, so you're not going to take your eyes off the object. You are not going to look at your paper. No cheating. All right, so hopefully that help clears it up. If you're still confused about that, drop me an email. So not to worry if you screwed up last week, you're going to get plenty of practice this week, which leads me to this week's assignment. Okay, this week you are going to need 4 sheets of paper and a pencil. You're not even going to need an eraser. You won't need it. Just 4 sheets of paper, and a pencil. That means for those of you who love pens, yes, this week you can use a pen if you want to. So, what else are you going to need? You're going to need yourself and 3 other family members. Don't have three other family members? No worries, I don't either. So I also used Bob Ross and Polychrome. So gather your family members, your pets, beloved objects, and you are going to do for me in total 4 blind sketch portraits of one is yourself, and then the rest are either family members, pets, beloved objects. Yes? Okay, so tips. 1, no cheating. You know who you are. Don't look at your paper as you are drawing. All right, look at the object, put something in between what you were drawing and your object, like your hand and your drawing, so that you cannot see down through, all right? So separate that out. No cheating. Remember, these aren't supposed to look good. These are supposed to be fun, all right? So, 2, I told you to get 4 sheets of paper. Use the whole paper, all right? Don't squeeze all these in little itty bitty things, all right? This isn't a challenge if it's itty bitty, because it's much easier for you to figure out where your pencil is and to keep your eye focused on an object, all right? Go big. This is where you really start developing the skills that I'm after. So, third tip. For humans, I recommend doing a torso and head portrait, all right? So humans are kind of big objects. We don't need to do the whole thing. That's hard to fit on one sheet of paper. So head to torso. But for pets and for smaller objects, do the whole thing. Why are we doing this? Great question. We're doing this because it helps to build hand-eye coordination, which is a really important skill in art. And what was fun for me is I noticed that a lot of my athletes who typically say like, oh, I can't do art, you guys had some of the best blind sketches when we did the bottles. And it's because you're constantly practicing that hand-eye coordination and you already have it developed. So the rest of us have to catch up to you this week. So that's why we're doing this. My tip of the day is that as you are drawing, think of your eye as an extension of your pencil. So wherever your eye is on an object, that is where you should be drawing. When you get ahead of yourself, that's where you get lost on your paper, you don't know where your line is, right? And so if you're drawing around and you want to get over to here and you're back here, retrace where you've been. This is sort of tip number 2. Retrace where you've been to get back to where you want to go so that you're not lifting your pencil up from the paper. All right? So, guess I should show you some examples. So here is my self-portrait that I did. If you know, this is funny, right? Objectively, this is hilarious. But if you look closely, you can see sort of all the components of my face, right? So there's my glasses and my eyes, and if you look, there's those purple earrings I wear a lot. But I got, you know, disjointed from my head, so it's all over the place. So here's a picture I did of my partner, Austin. And this one, full disclosure, I had to go over my other lines of my portrait so that you could see it. These I drew a little darker, so you're able to see better. All right, and again, we can find his glasses and his beard and his mustache. Bob Ross. So if we look, it looks a mess, but then you start looking and go, oh, okay, here's Bob Ross's hair, and then somehow the beard cut over this way. Here's his paintbrush. Here's his foot. There's his leg with the foot in the paint can. And then finally, our friend Polychrome. And so we can see Polly's beak, the floof on top of his head, and then his sort of weird body and wings. And this is what I'm looking for. Notice what it doesn't have. There's no shading. There's no, going back and fixing things. This is all what we would call continuous line. And so that's what I'm after, and that's what yours should look like, or something similar to this. And I hope that's clear. I guess that'll do it for us this episode. Don't forget to upload your drawings when you're all done to the Google Classroom, and I look forward to seeing them. Also, don't forget to call. See you next time.